Robert J. Kuntz on X, who, if you're not familiar with, this is one of the guys that was credited for creating Dungeons and Dragons. And he follows me. Wow. Damn. Oh, that's crazy. He said, "Hey, Elon Musk, I am the last surviving member from the original Dungeons and Dragons design team and Gary Gygax's student. I will gladly help rebut this POS article if someone can forward me a photocopy of it. It would be my pleasure." So he tags Elon Musk, and Elon Musk responds to this. But this is from the Dungeon Crawler. FFS, I thought the D&D activists were getting bored and went looking for something else to ruin. But we've got a late headline of the year here. And it says, from the Atlantic, ideas. Why Elon Musk needs Dungeons and Dragons to be racist. The fantastical roots of scientific racism by Adam Serwer, who, in case you're wondering who this guy is, this is from the Atlantic. Adam Serwer is a staff writer at the Atlantic. He's the author of the New York Times bestseller, The Cruelty is the Point. And based off of research, he seems to be extremely racist, at least from what I've found. Adam has previously been a recipient of 2021 Moment Magazine, Robert S. Greenberg Journalism Award, 2019 Hillman Prize for Opinion Journalism, and 2019 Salute to Excellence Award for commentary from the National Association of Black Journalists. Okay. It's one of his articles. White Nationalism's Deep American Roots. A long overdue excavation of the book that Hitler called his Bible and the man who wrote it. So you probably already know what you're getting yourself into with someone who's going to write an article even about that to push an agenda and push a point. But this is the article from this guy over on the Atlantic, why Elon Musk needs Dungeons and Dragons to be racist. Now, I'm not going to go through this article because it is paywalled, but the paywall was removed and shared with Robert Kuntz to explain to him what the full article was. And Elon Musk replied, "The Atlantic is a fake publication kept alive only by Laureen Jobs using her dead husband's money for something he would despise." Way to run it into the ground, right? So Robert Romano said, last year, you asked how much is Hasbro. Today, it's $11.5 billion market cap. It's time for new management for the world's first role-playing game. With XAI games coming, maybe you could also help preserve tabletop games and fantastic literature. The world can thank you later. And that got me thinking down the road of, wait a second, what if Elon Musk were to, I don't know, purchase Dungeons and Dragons? I said, exploring the prospect, and I tagged Elon Musk, potentially buying Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons from Hasbro. So you don't necessarily need to buy $11.5 billion company. If Elon were to get on the phone and ring Hasbro and say, hey, I don't want to buy your whole company, but would you be willing to split off and part with Wizards of the Coast? So I asked ChatGPT, could he do it? Yes, Elon Musk could theoretically buy Wizards of the Coast or buy a carved out D&D business plus the IP, but only if Hasbro's board and shareholders agree to sell. Since Wizards of the Coast is one of Hasbro's strongest profit engines, Hasbro has repeatedly highlighted how pivotal its Wizards of the Coast and digital gaming segment is to overall performance, including major growth in 2025. A realistic purchase price for Wizards of the Coast, including Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons, would likely land around $8 to $15 billion. And I would lean towards on the higher side, if not much higher. If it went to 16 to 20 billion, I wouldn't be surprised, because this would be Hasbro saying, you have to pay a massive premium for us to go through the effort and sell this to you, because this is our money maker. We're not just going to part with it for nothing. Because buyers typically pay a premium for durable IP and high margin cash flow, and notably Hasbro's entire market cap is only about 11.4 to 11.5 billion right now, which hints how valuable Wizards of the Coast is relative to its parent. Basically meaning that if someone were to make them split off Wizards of the Coast, they'd spend more money buying that segment than just buying all of Hasbro. That's crazy. If Musk only won Dungeons and Dragons rights control, not all of Wizards of the Coast, the number could be lower, but it would still likely be multi-billions and politically hard for Hasbro to justify unless the offer is a big premium. So at the end of the day, just looking at that, it really would make more sense for him to buy all of Hasbro, because splitting it off would end up potentially costing more. That's crazy. So I go on, how much is he currently valued at? His current value is around $700 billion. So an $11 billion price is not a huge risk. He could afford it without too much of a risk to take. Kind of like how he bought X. Not a huge risk. What it says at the bottom here is the big takeaway. Financially, this would be a very low risk for Musk. Strategically and culturally, it would be the harder part. And I said, because the employees at Wizards of the Coast are a bunch of woke tarts and ChatGPT, ever the professional. I'm going to reframe that without the slur, but I get what you're pointing at. The concern people raise isn't that every employee at Wizards of the Coast is one thing or another. It's that the corporate culture and leadership direction at Wizards of the Coast over the last several years has been highly ideological, with frequent public signaling, policy decisions, and messaging that prioritizes activism over product focus. That culture is reinforced internally through hiring norms, HR policy, and public-facing statements, which makes it structural, not just a few loud individuals. That matters for a hypothetical buyer like Elon because he tends to strip ideological layers out of companies he touches. He clashes hard with entrenched internal activist cultures. Culture resistance, not money, is usually what makes acquisitions painful. So I would argue that's the reason, ironically, why he wants to fix it would be the reason why he doesn't want to buy it. The irony is very strong with all this. And Robert replied to Robert Romano. Robert Kuntz replied to him, says, it's been mostly static for the longest time after a previous bloodbath years ago. More importantly, their debt equity ratio is above 3-1. 2-1 is danger zone. And Robert replied to Robert, well, the company might suck right now, but I think D&D is still priceless. And then Elon, once again, reinforcing the point that balls deep, woke white women are the doom of Western civilization. This guy replied, yes, blacks with a differing opinion, white liberals will speak for you. Elon Musk, seriously. Adam Lois says, the left-wing wives of billionaires are one of the greatest threats to Western civilization. Yes, they are. Absolutely. They are mentally unstable and have all the money in the world to create havoc. That is the unspoken danger with the future of humanity, is the left-wing lunatic wives of billionaires. That once the billionaires pass away, those wives are going to do some crazy shit with the money. Yep. Mackenzie Bezos, or whatever her last name is these days, is another one. She despises her ex and wants anyone like him to die. What? And he posts this story from the New York Post. Jeff Bezos' ex-wife giving most of the 640 million donations to extreme left groups, boosting migrant criminals, trans athletes. So this was back in March of 2024. When people wonder why the world was spiraling to a hellhole of insanity, when things were upside down, nothing made sense at all, and trans was being promoted and propped up by everything in the media, you see a story like this is, oh, over $500 million, 640 million in donations are going to extreme left groups, boosting trans athletes and migrant criminals. Holy shit. Elon Musk knows what's up. Like, very scary. Yeah, don't even get me started on the schools too. Yikes. Current worth. Mackenzie is worth $42 billion. Source of income. Divorce from Jeff Bezos. Holy shit. That's dwarfing Melinda Gates. Holy shit, that's insane. Wow, 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 wow. Very scary. Deport white liberal women. Rich white liberal women are the downfall of society. They absolutely are. This is the true threat to democracy, is them. Robert Kuntz continued, why Elon Musk needs Dungeons and Dragons to be racist. The fantastical roots of science and racism. The game is more popular than ever, reaching far beyond its original audience of Midwestern misfits and bookish nerds, which inspired the world's richest man to lash out because his favorite role-playing game wasn't as racist and sexist as it used to be. So these people use these words. Old hat by now, tired of their tactics of how they try to knock something down. It doesn't work anymore. Calling me racist or a bigot means literally nothing because I know what you're trying to do. It doesn't offend me. It doesn't scare me. It doesn't stop me. Your words are powerless now. That's what they try to do. This one was great. Yeah. Orcs are black people, but somehow the guy saying this isn't the racist. 100%. 100%. Remember that? Logical fallacies on the left. The guy's trying really hard for attention. He's trying real hard to get sued by Elon. I wouldn't be surprised, by the way. Any attention is good attention. So, yeah. Why do they have to be so retarded? Is this the guy? This dude comes across sketchier than convenience store sushi, and I have serious doubts he has any clue what a taco is. Staff writer, The Atlantic. Ideas. Order the cruelty is the point here. Wow. Yeah, he's one of those. Elon Musk, hurry up and buy Hasbro. 100%. Did he reply? Or at the very least, buy everything that TSR owned and start up a new TSR. Yep. Again, based off of what's transpiring right now with behind the scenes of Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons, and Elon Musk getting involved with one of the creators of D&D, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't hear information that Elon was looking to do something here. Like genuinely, I'm very curious. And just like he did with Twitter, when he turned it into X and bought that, a complete shift dynamically in society took place, especially online. And if he were to do that with Wizards of the Coast, could you imagine? You thought the hallways of Twitter were reeing when Elon bought it. Could you imagine Wizards of the Coast, what they would be saying if Elon Musk announced that he is buying them? I mean, the reactions would be priceless. I would be here for it. I think that would be worth the entry price of the billions of dollars just to see the reactions of the people working there. Thomas Brown says, I wish he would spend his money on things that actually matter. Wizards won't have a big impact. Sorry, but that is the truth. He should do something like making a payment processor to compete. He is. They already have it functional internally at X, he announced. And it will be going public at some point. He said that it is live right now in 2025 internally at X. They're still testing it out and stuff, but it is happening. And I think that'll be a massive disruption when that comes through too. At the same time, he's only one man. I don't know how you can be the head of Tesla, the head of X, and the head of Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast, the head of Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons. Like, holy shit. That's just a lot. But that was cool. I had no idea that Robert followed me. That's cool. That's really cool. I'll give him a follow back. Holy shit. That is surreal. But wow. Anyways,